for Father O'Donnell to join us. This is the largest group that we've had. This is the second year that we're doing our installation virtually. This is by far the largest group. One, I think most of you all have sort of gotten used to. I'm going to ask if you're not speaking, if you don't have a role speaking, please mute, or I will hunt you down and mute you on your behalf. Because otherwise, there's like some buzzing going on and stuff like that. So if you would, please mute your mics. And I'll kind of do that through the meeting to make sure that whoever's speaking is not kind of doesn't have background noise. So as I was saying, this is the largest group by far that we've had. Not only register, we're up to 68 right now. I'm expecting we're going to get over 100. We have 184 folks registered for our meeting tonight, so we had to supersize our Zoom account. And so, you know, the internet is bogging down because everybody's at the Contract Cities virtual installation tonight. So thank you all for coming, first of all. And we're still waiting for Father O'Donnell. So as soon as he jumps on, we're going to go with the invocation, and then we're going to go right into it, and I'll speed up my part and make it very quick. I don't see him yet. Is he working on it, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is his name? Rodarte?
Yes.
Rodarte?
Rodarte.
Rodarte. Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Congresswoman, I didn't even see you over there.
Hi.
Welcome. We're waiting for Father O'Donnell to do our invocation, and then we'll get started, and then we'll have you on because I'm sure you're plenty busy. There's a lot of stuff going on right now in DC and here back at home.
Yeah.
So bear with us just a couple more minutes, and then we'll get going.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Father Paul is on.
Okay, let's see. I'm looking for him. Father Paul, can you use the raise hand feature so it'll bump you to the front of my my boxes here because there's a whole bunch of folks that I'm looking through. I don't see him yet.
I'm sorry.
There he is. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, we'll now get started. We're just a few minutes behind, but we'll make it up because I'm a speed talker. So please, if you will, welcome Father O'Donnell. Father O'Donnell is the pastor from St. Margaret Mary Church in Lomita. Father, if you would, please.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. We'll just start with a prayer. Holy God, creator and sustainer, in your infinite wisdom, you have set us to serve all our brothers and sisters in our community, conscious of the fact that wherever one serves with love and patience and forgiveness, there the kingdom of God is being built. We ask your blessing upon everyone participating in this meeting and upon the many and diverse families of our constituents. We pray for those of us who serve in positions of great responsibilities and those of lesser, those who represent thousands and those who represent hundreds, those whose decision will affect generations still to be born, and those who serve the immediate needs of today. Grant that every one of us be a servant who may treat the rich and the poor, the young and the old, the educated and the uneducated with dignity and fairness. May we serve without prejudice or partiality in times of prosperity or difficulty. O God, may each one of us be a person of integrity, reliability, and commitment, one who serves out of a sincere compassion, never seeking our personal gain. May we make every effort to make our community, city, and nation not only a better place to live, but a place known for its justice and mercy. Give each of us knowledge, insight, courage, and strength. May we know right from wrong and when to be flexible and when to be firm. Heavenly Father, be merciful to our great land and to those who lead us in our communities, cities, and national government. Give to each a sense of calling. May all have a pure heart and the peace and joy of knowing that they have taken the high road for the common good. This we pray in the holy name of our loving God. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Father. We appreciate you joining us tonight. All right, Everett, you're up. Are you ready? All right, let me start my flag, and then you're going to have at it. Ready? All right, do your thing.
Ready, begin. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republics for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Good stuff. Thank you, Everett. We appreciate you for joining us tonight. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move around a little bit because I want to be respectful of the Congresswoman's time. So I'm going to bring up Congresswoman Maxine Waters, who represents the 43rd Congressional District. I'm not going to do a bio because we all know who she is. She's a national figure. So please, if you would, Congresswoman, take the floor.
Oh my goodness, thank you. And good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank you, Marcel Rodarte, for that kind introduction and for your leadership as Executive Director of the California Contract Cities Association. I would also like to thank your incoming president and my friend and mayor from the city of Lomita, Mark Waronek, for inviting me to participate in tonight's program. I want to express my profound sympathy to everyone among you who has lost a loved one or been directly impacted by the coronavirus pandemic. It has certainly been a difficult and tragic year for all of us, but we're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. In his first 100 days, President Biden acted to get America back on track by addressing the crisis facing our nation, vaccinating America to beat the pandemic, delivering much needed help to American families, making transformative investments to rescue and rebuild our economy, and fundamentally showing that government can deliver for its people. We administered over 200 million shots in less than 100 days. More than half of US adults have gotten one shot, 2/3 of all seniors fully vaccinated. Daily deaths are now down 75% since January 20th, and over 114 million people have been fully vaccinated, or 34.4% of the total US population. Researchers have estimated that around 70% to 85% of the country needs to be immune to the coronavirus for COVID-19 to stop spreading through communities. We delivered 160 million relief checks of $1,400 per person, with 85% of all Americans receiving one. We opened a majority of schools for K-8 as promised, with safety in mind. We passed the American Rescue Plan to fund vaccine deployment and economic rescue payments, which many call the most significant legislation in a generation. Experts say it will cut child poverty in half by next year. The AARP will also advance racial equity by significantly reducing poverty in communities of color, in the Black community by 38%, in the Hispanic community by 43%, and in AAPI communities by 21%. So as the chair of the Financial Services Committee, I worked very hard to protect homeowners and renters. In addition to the $25 billion in emergency rental assistance I secured in December package, I also worked hard to secure $27.5 billion in additional assistance for renters and $100 billion, that is rather $10 billion, in direct assistance to homeowners in this bill. This is going to help people remain housed until our nation emerges from the COVID-19 pandemic, and it provides support to all who have been suffering, including our mom and pop landlords. I know states and local governments have been struggling to cope with the pandemic. You've been burdened with reduced tax revenue, increased public health expenditures, and a variety of other expenses as a result of the pandemic. That is why we included $350 billion in the ARP for states and local governments to recover and maintain important public services. The state of California will receive approximately $42 billion, including $26 billion for the state government and $16 billion for all counties and local governments combined. And so, without even knowing exactly how our local governments have been assisted, I know that those who are part of the Contract Cities Association have appreciated the assistance and support you have been able to get from the association. Well, Los Angeles County will receive $1.9 billion. Some of the estimated allocations for member cities in my district include $308 million for Alameda, $6.1 million for Lawndale, and $1.35 billion for the city of Los Angeles. So let's talk a little bit about earmarks. Congress is also considering funding for projects requested by individual members of Congress for our districts. These are what we used to call earmarks. The Appropriations Committee has designated a small number of accounts from which they will consider requests for what they're now calling community project funding. The committee will only accept up to 10 project requests from each member of Congress, and they might only fund a fraction of them. Meanwhile, the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is accepting earmark requests for projects to be included in the Surface Transportation Reauthorization Bill, which they are calling member designated projects. I received more than 50 project requests from my district for these two committees prior to the deadlines. I will do my very best to help ensure that the projects I submitted on behalf of the cities in the 43rd Congressional District get funded. Let's talk a little bit about the American Jobs Plan, what is known as the Infrastructure Plan. On March 31st, President Biden announced his American Jobs Plan, a once-in-a-generation investment in infrastructure to make America more competitive and help create 19 million jobs. The plan will invest $2 trillion in infrastructure over 8 years. It will be completely paid for through corporate tax reform over 15 years. I'm pleased that Biden followed my recommendation and recognized that housing is infrastructure. And I look forward to the investments that will follow that. So in conclusion, I know that all of us are committed to helping our communities grow and prosper. I thank you again for inviting me to join you, and an early congratulations to your new president, Mark Waronek. And I just want to say good night to you. And I'm just so pleased that so many people are participating this evening. This is an important time in the history of this country, and we must take advantage of the opportunities to strengthen our cities and our states and involve more people and ensure that we do everything that we can to help people enjoy a decent quality of life. I am very proud of the 43rd Congressional District. I'm proud of the diversity. I'm proud of the volunteerism. I'm proud of the fact that we have so many people who love and respect the communities that they live in. Let's continue to work together to make the 43rd Congressional District the best congressional district in the country. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Congresswoman. I have a quick anecdote that I wanted to share. A few years ago, I was flying to DC with my mom and my daughter. We were going to go do some sightseeing, and you were sitting right behind us on the flight over, you and Congresswoman Barragan. And so when we got off the plane, I always try to, expose my daughter to, great leaders, particularly women leaders. So you were kind enough to take a picture with us, and of course, Nanette. And then also on the plane, there was like a security detail outside. And I was asking Nanette, I was like, "Do you guys get security?" She's like, "No, that's not for us. The speaker's also on the plane." So it was such a great experience for her to be able to witness these, amazingly, these powerful women serving our country. So thank you for that. Thank you for being so kind, not only to me, but to my daughter and to my mom. So thank you for all the work that you're doing. And thank you for joining us tonight.
You're so absolutely welcome. And thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Okay, so folks, we have some business that we need to get done, and I promise this is going to be really quick just because this is the way our association works. We're going to do the fun stuff, but we got to do the business first. So again, welcome to our second annual virtual installation ceremony. Just a couple announcements again. I got special permission from our current president, Lindsey Horvath, to run the business portion of our meeting. There's 3 items that we need to vote on, so I have polls set up. So I'm gonna, right now, first, I would like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our April Board of Directors meetings. And please, when you make the motion, please state your name and the city so we can record it properly.
Motion,
Jeff,
Raj Artesia.
Jeff Wood,
Armenta,
Lakewood.
second from Rosemead.
Okay, so I heard Ali, and then I heard Jeff, and I also heard Sandra, but I heard Jeff before Sandra. So we'll take that as the first and the second. Now I'm going to put up a poll. If you're not voting a delegate from your city, please don't vote in the poll. If you want to abstain or say yes or no, then please do. And I'll leave it open for a couple minutes as we collect the votes. All right, I'll go ahead and end the poll. Looks like we have that has been approved. I'm going to download those results. And now I can't see anything. So, okay. So now our second item is our sorry, I got a bunch of stuff popping up here. Our 2021-2022 budget. The budget was sent out about a month ago. As per our bylaws, it has to go out 30 days before we vote. It's also been posted on our website for the last month. So I would also like to entertain a motion to approve the 2021-2022 budget.
Taj Artesia, move.
Woods, Signal Hill, second.
All right, and I'll put up the poll for that one. Same thing, if you're the voting delegate, please vote. If you are not, just don't vote, because we will see who voted on it. And I will call you at your home late at night. All right, one more second, and looks like we're good to go. Thank you, everyone. Okay, final item is our bylaws update. So we updated our bylaws, as you all know, well, as you may not know, and within the bylaws, it provides the president the prerogative to create committees, standing committees to exist. So, of course, this last year we created the Public Safety Working Group, which has proven to be incredibly valuable to the work that we're doing when it comes to either police reform or to improving the way that our cities are either policed by your own law enforcement agencies or the sheriff's department. So that work will continue what is now the Public Safety Committee. And so with that, we have to, of course, update the bylaws to create that committee. So I would like to entertain a motion to approve the bylaw changes to that end.
So moved, Horvath, West Hollywood. Second, Armenta,
Second,
Rosemead.
Jennifer Perez, Norwalk.
Yeah, I got Sandra before you, Jennifer. You guys are quick on the mute buttons. Okay, I'll launch that poll now, and if you would please vote, and then we'll move along very quickly. All right, you guys are great. Thank you. That's all the business that we have tonight. I have just one more announcement that I'd like to make, and we talked about it at the top of the meeting. Please, 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 this is the first time that we are going to be back together in person in September. Everything looks great right now. I've been watching this incredibly closely since the vaccines were rolled out earlier this year. And as we make progress toward in-person meetings, as you may have seen, the CDC now is issuing guidance to say that if you've been fully vaccinated, that masks are not required. My hope is that all of you will be vaccinated by September and that we will be able to meet in person in Indian Wells from September 16th through the 19th in person. Now, normally our fall summit is a little bit shorter than our annual conference, but because we weren't able to do our annual conference in person, we are going to be modeling this after what will have been an AMS. So we will have a golf tournament on Thursday, we'll have sessions Friday, half a day on Saturday, and then we'll have a dinner on Saturday night. And that dinner will be geared toward recognizing Mark, but also recognizing Lindsey, Horvath, and Sandra, because of course they missed out on sort of the tail end. Lindsey missed out on both of her years as president. So we want to make sure that we are able to honor them in person. So please join us in September. We look forward to having you. I'm super excited to welcome you all back, to see your smiling faces. And with that, we're going to move into now. It's my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you our current president. And I would tell you, I know Sam had a saying that, you know, every past president was his favorite president. And I wish that tonight I was able to actually pin on her past president's pin, because she has made my job so incredibly easy over the last year. We have these conversations on the phone and we kind of point the finger at each other and say, no, you made it easy. No, you made it easy. But really, 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 when I'm a student of leadership, and when I have the privilege to work with someone that has the leadership abilities that Lindsey does, it makes my heart blow up, because it's been an honor, Lindsey. It's been a pleasure. And then now, as she moves toward, fingers crossed, becoming our next county supervisor, I'm looking forward to continuing that work. So with no further ado, please welcome our president, Lindsey Horvath.
Thank you so much, Marcel, and my deepest gratitude and sincerest thanks for the opportunity to have served as president over this past year. Without all of you, the successes of our past year would not have been possible. And I just want to thank once again in a special way, Mark Waronek from Lomita, Ali Taj from Artesia, Sandra Armenta from Rosemead, Liz Riley from Duarte, Blanca Pacheco from Downey, Michael Davitt from La Cañada Flint Ridge, Frank Zurunyon from Rolling Hills Estates, Yesenia De La Rosa from Avalon, Nancy Tregars from Walnut, Paul Aravalo, my city manager, and John Leonard, who stood in for him on several occasions, Deborah Klein Lopez from Aurora Hills, Jennifer Perez from Norwalk, Ana Maria Quintana from Bell, Jeff Wood from Lakewood, Dana Reed from Indian Wells, Stacy Armato from Hermosa Beach, Jose Gonzalez from Cudahy, Brenda Olmos from Paramount, Julian Gold from Beverly Hills, James Bazagian from Calabasas, and our incredible staff, Marcel Rodarte, Myra Bonilla, Alejandra Hernandez, Jorge Morales. All of you have made this year absolutely incredible. I would not have been able to do it without each and every one of you. And the fact that you said yes in this very difficult time to stepping up to serve in this important way has meant the world, not only to me, but to all of our communities and all of our members. My hope is that we look back on this year, not in reference to my term as president, but as the year we all came together in strength and determination to care for and to protect our communities in an unprecedented time. That as our focus was directed to the needs of protecting public health and community safety, we rose to the challenge, and that in the face of great adversity, we stood together, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, to honor our collective commitment to serving the people of our cities and of our association. Thank you all for the many lessons that you've taught me, the faith that you placed in me, and the time you spent with me, which allowed me to become a better public servant and steward of our association. In a special way, I'd like to congratulate my friend and brother in faith and in service, our incoming president, Mark Waronek. You have served as a steady, reliable vice president for 2 consecutive years on top of your many years of service in contract cities for the benefit of our association. And you take the reins of this organization with our collective confidence in your leadership, your example, and your commitment to the work we are all entrusted to do. I am so proud to know you and call you my friend. And with that, I'm looking forward to supporting your leadership in the year ahead and to continuing the important work of our association for years to come. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Lindsey. As always, excellent with the words. One of the great orators of our time, I believe. Again, thank you. It was an honor and a privilege to have you as our president, and I'm looking forward to seeing you grow into even bigger and greater things. So now I'm gonna thank our associate members that sent out swag. Most of you should have gotten a swag box. We got so many people registered that we actually ran out. We do have a couple of extra things, so of items left from the swag boxes. Jorge gives me crap when I say things too much, but if you would send me an email at marcel@contractcities.org, and if you didn't get a swag box, we'll try to get you some of the stuff that we have left. I know we have a few things left. So without any further delay, I'm going to bring up Senator Ben Allen. I know he's here. He's going to say a few welcome remarks, and he will take over the installation first of our incoming Secretary Treasurer and Vice President, and then of Mark. And there he is. And you'll have the floor, Senator.
Well, thank you, everybody. I got the memo and have my cap on. Only Lindsey is better prepared and looking better than all of us, so she didn't have to wear a baseball cap here on a Saturday. But I wanted to be a part of this to first of all, send out big hugs to everybody. Thank you so much for stepping up during this incredibly difficult year in local government. I think it's been just immensely challenging, and I don't need to say that to any of you. We all know what this last year has brought. But you, everybody on this call, we're on the front lines of trying to keep your communities there, trying to keep people afloat, trying to give some hope to people, trying to, of course, also sometimes convey difficult messages to people who didn't necessarily want to hear what was happening. And as it is, serving in local government is a thankless job. This last year was immensely challenging. And so I do want to, first of all, tip my hat to Lindsey, who just was able to lead both in her own city and this association with incredible grace and fortitude, and with that same eloquence that we just heard from her, that same compassion, that same big heart. And so thank you, Lindsey, for all your service that you already have provided to our community and will continue to provide for our entire region. And then, of course, to Mark, who's stepping up, who's just got a big heart as well, a good person, a good friend, and someone who I think sees the joy in the difficulty of the work. So I got to say, I mean, to go from, to have my good friend Lindsey in the northern corner of my district, the northeastern portion of my district in West Hollywood, to the southeastern corner of my district, Mark Waronek from Lomita. It's such a wonderful thing to see the 26th Senate district step up and represent and serve with such distinction this immensely important association that provides really important representation for voice of cities in Sacramento and around our region. So thank you to the two of you for stepping up. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to Ali, I know as well, who we're going to be swearing in today, Marcel, and all the wonderful staff that work so hard to make it all work. So I wanted to be a part of this and tip my hat to everyone. And I guess I'm going to be administering the oath of office to everybody who's we're swearing in today, Jeff and Ali, of course, and of course our president, Mark. So without further ado, do I, Marcel, do you want me to? I want to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do.
Yeah, I'll bring them up on. I'll add them to the spotlight, so you'll be able to see
one by
both
one.
of them. And then I'm looking for Jeff. There he is. And then you'll do your thing. There you go.
There you go. Okay, so Jeff. Okay, so Jeff, as you know, is coming in as Secretary and Treasurer for the California Contract Cities Association, and so when he comes up onto the camera, we will get started.
Yeah, so we have him up. He's up. You're on. If you look at the speaker view, you should see both Ali and Jeff, Senator.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me, Jeff? You can hear me okay?
Yes,
or
yes.
We're going to do it with both Jeff and Ali at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. All right, let's do this. So please raise your right hand and state after me. I state your name.
I, Jeff Ali Sajjad,
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully carry out the duties of the office.
I will faithfully carry out the duties of the office,
which has been entrusted. And to which I have been elected.
To which I have been elected.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
And will follow the dictates of the rules and bylaws.
And will follow the dictates of the rules and bylaws.
Of the California Contract Cities Association.
Of the California
Contract Cities Association.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President and Mr. Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. Thank you for administering this oath. Thank you so much.
Look forward to looking forward to seeing you both in LA and obviously up in Sacramento.
Thank you
Certainly.
very much.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Now I'll bring up Mark for you, Senator.
And Mark, of course, appreciate your cap. Hopefully the Dodgers will start winning at least a couple more games.
Yep,
Are you there, Mark?
Three-game winning streak right now.
That's right. That's right. Just need a couple more. We'll be back in first. So it's so good to see you. I love oh God, you get the seal and everything in the background. I love it. All right, sir. Well, Mark, it's a real honor to get to swear you in as president of the California Contract Cities Association. As I say, you are a true humble public servant, and you're following in big footsteps with Lindsey as your immediate predecessor. And so I want to congratulate you, and please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Mark Waronek.
I, Mark Waronek.
Able to hear me? Yep. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully carry out the duties of the office.
Faithfully carry the duties of the office.
Which has been entrusted to me.
Which has been entrusted to me.
And to which I have been elected.
In which I have been elected.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
And will follow the dictates of the rules and bylaws.
And follow the dictates of the rules and bylaws.
Of the California Contract Cities Association.
Of the California Contracts Cities Association.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate your friendship. Yeah, and I, you know,
excellent.
You're doing this for both Lindsey and I, and it means a lot. So I really do appreciate this.
All right. I
look forward to be able to do this in person when we're all together.
Thank you again, Senator. We'll have to bring you out to Indian Wells to get you out there. So I am going to play now a special message that we have from Supervisor Janice Hahn. If you would bear with me 1 second.
Congratulations, Mark, on being elected the president of the California Contract Cities Association. You and I have been friends for a long time, and I know the excellent work you've done, not only for your city of Lomita, but for the South Bay and the harbor area for many years. I want to commend you especially on your leadership this past year, as you have led your city as mayor through the enormous challenges the pandemic posed, and worked tirelessly to support local businesses, keep families fed, and maintain the same level of excellent public service the residents of Lomita have come to expect of you. I have no doubt that you're going to bring the same dedication and tenacity with you as you head Contract Cities this year on behalf of the over 7.5 million California residents it represents. Congratulations again, and good luck.
All right, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was really nice from our supervisor. Where do I start? Let's see here. I just want to thank Father Paul, my nephew Everett. Let's see, Congresswoman Waters, Senator Ben Allen, and Supervisor Hahn for those very, very kind words. It means a lot. Thank you to my Lomita family that are on. My city manager, Ryan, past city council members, Mike Savadan and Henry Sanchez and Susie Dever, as well as my current city council, my mayor pro tem, Cindy Sagawa, council members, Jim Gaisley, Bill Uphoff, and Barry Waite. I really appreciate you guys all being on. And then, of course, my city attorney from Best and Krieger, Trevor, thank you for being on tonight. First, I just want to say thank you to Lindsey, and let me try to get through this. Last year, when we decided to not have the seminar in May, it was tough because my city had been planning for this thing and they were so excited. I was very excited. And I remember we were on a call, myself, Sandra Armenta, Marcel, and Lindsey. And Sandra had asked, Mark, how do you feel? And I said, well, I feel like crap, feel bad for my city that we put on this work and, what we were supposed to do. I mean, we're in the middle of the pandemic. And I remember Lindsey just stepping up and saying, Mark, don't worry. We'll let you do it next year. Why don't I leapfrog you as president? And then you'll have your time, at the annual seminar, and then your city can be a part of it. And I thought to myself, what did I just hear? And then I just kind of let it go. And then I remember getting off the call and then Lindsey calling me and saying, Mark, I hope I didn't overstep, but I hope it's okay. Do you want to do that? And I said, Lindsey, you would do that for me? And I thought, wow. And I couldn't believe, that you would do something like that. But that shows you the leadership and the kindness of this person and how she puts others before herself. And to me, that's a true leader. And I'll tell you, this past year, she's really kicked some ass. She really has. She's made a difference for California contract cities. She's made a difference in her own community, but more importantly, she's made a difference in Los Angeles County. So Lindsey, my sister in faith, I applaud you. I thank you. And I can't wait to be working with you someday as the next LA County Supervisor. I love you a lot. Thank you very, very much. Where do I start with contract cities? I was elected, my first time I was elected, it was in 2003. And I remember right after I got elected, got elected in November, and I wasn't sworn in yet. I remember going to a California contract cities meeting in late November, and it was at AMR. At that time, AMR was located in Torrance. And I was with a couple of my colleagues from the city council. And I remember looking at this short Italian man running around like crazy, going, who is that guy? And I thought, who is this guy just running this? I mean, there was over 100 people at this, dinner. It was what I knew later was the board of directors meeting. And I thought, wow, I want to get to know this guy. Who is this guy? And somebody said to me, that's Sam Oliveto. If you want to get involved in contract cities, you better talk to that guy. So I made it a point to go up to him at the end of the meeting and say, hey, my name is Mark Waronek. I'm newly elected. I'd like to get involved in California contract cities. So right away, I think he thought I was Italian, but he said, hey, give me a call next week and we'll see what we can do. But more importantly, right after I got elected, not only did he, we went out to lunch, and he was the first person to take me to the Del Rey and Pico Rivera. And I'm always thankful for that because I love that place. But he was able to get me on a committee after being actually being a chair of a committee. He was able to, I forgot what the committee was, but right away I got involved in the Contract Cities family. And I knew this was a right place for me. And I say, thank you to Sam, thank you to Sharon, because you're the ones that brought me in and showed me the ropes in so many occasions when I was first elected. And of course, working with the past presidents from that time, Sherry Kelly, Margaret Finley, Dave Spence, Sally Flowers, I was able to get into the position of Secretary Treasurer. And unfortunately, I lost my election back in 2007. And I remember being at that meeting, my last meeting, and we were in Huntington Park at a car dealership. And it was just really nice to see the heartfelt thanks of the people that, couldn't believe I lost, and I couldn't believe I lost either. But, I'm a firm believer things happen for a reason. So I sat out 6 years. And as you know, when you lose an election, you really find out who your true friends are. And through that 6 years, I decided to run again. And thankfully for one of my colleagues, Jim Gaisley, who's on, said, hey, we want you to run again. And with the support of Jim and Mike Savadan and Henry Sanchez, I was able to come back on the council in 2013. And of course, right away, I said, I got to get back involved with California contract cities. And I just want to say thank you to past presidents, Victor Manalo, to Gustavo Camacho, Lou Lamont, Mike Davitt, Sandra Armenta, Jorge Morales, and of course, Lindsey, for allowing me to stay in leadership and getting into leadership to where I am now. I thank you all, the past presidents who had their hand in doing this, to Frank Zurunyon, to Steve Ty, and to many others that have been, Lois Gaston, and of course, Margaret Finley, who's going to be on the executive board with me now because she was with me back in 2003. So I just say thank you to all of you for allowing me this opportunity to stay involved. I also want to say thank you to Marcel Rodarte. And I've said this to him time and time again, and I know Lindsey has said this to him. Man, you have really stepped it up this past year. Just like Lindsey, you, my friend, have really made contract cities relevant, and more relevant in the fact that you were sending messages to city managers and emails to city managers before they got it from the county. So you were ahead of the curve, man, and you blossomed as a leader. Whatever you learned from Frank Zurunyon at USC, man, has really paid off. I'm still waiting for it to kick in for Jorge Morales, but Marcel, man, you really shined this year, and it's a privilege to work with you this coming year. And I know we're going to do some great things. Some of the things I'm just going to talk about, about this next coming year. I want to maintain that relevancy that contract cities have. We've had a very great legislative chair in Stacey Armato. I want her to continue kicking some butt. And of course, Senator Allen, she's from our district as well. I want her to continue on what she's doing. And we're making a difference in making sure that we have that local control, and working with our state senator, Ben Allen, and working with our assembly member, Al Marsucci, and all of the assembly members and state senators throughout the state to maintain that local control. And I'm so happy that my legislators, Senator Ben Allen and Al Marsucci, both came from local government, and they get it. So my hope is to continue that and work very closely with them and continue that effort to keep that local control, because that's what we're all about with California contract cities. And we have such a strong legislative presence, not just in the county, but the state as well. So we just want to continue that. One of the goals that I want to continue, that I want to do, is visit all of our cities. And Marcel, I know, is going, what the heck did I get myself into? But I think it's important that we wave the contract cities flag in all of those cities that we have. What do we have? 76 cities now that we have in our association. It's doable. And it's doable because I have assembled an incredible executive board. And I'm calling on you, executive board members, to work with me to make sure that we get out to all of our cities, to make sure that they know that what we're doing is so important for local government. I know a lot of times just the reps show up to the contract cities meeting, but it's the city council, the city manager, and the city staff are always invited to our board of directors meetings. They're always invited to our annual seminar, to our fall seminar, to our legislative days in Sacramento. It's not just the voting member, it's all of those city council members. So I want to make sure that we visit to all of them and let them know what's going on and what we're doing for them, because we are a presence, not only in the state, but we are a presence in the county of Los Angeles, working very closely with all 5 of our county supervisors. And we have great relationships with them. And I want to continue that and make sure that we do that. I also want to make sure that we continue and meet separately with our county supervisors, because it's so important. But also, not only in Los Angeles, we have an opportunity this next coming year, and hopefully the year after, to really make contract cities bigger. And with the help of Nancy Tregars and Dana Reed out in, Nancy represents Walnut, but she also is willing to help us out out in the San Bernardino Valley and the San Bernardino County, and also Riverside County, along with some of our other friends out there. And I think it's important that we make a concerted effort, not to just focus on Los Angeles County, but look at Riverside County, look at San Bernardino County, to see what we could do to help them, because there is a boatload of contract cities in those counties that should be a part of our association. It's a no-brainer. So let's definitely roll up our sleeves and get out there and see what we can do to bring some of those new members in. I think it's very important. You're going to hear me time and time again saying, get get stuff done or get shit done. And that's okay, because that's what we're going to do. I want to build upon what Lindsey has already started and what Sandra started and others before her started, to continue that upward trend of relevancy and the importance of California contract cities. I love contract cities. And I just say thank you to Sam Oliveto and Sharon Oliveto for entrusting that passion and love for contract cities, because it was you and it was the past presidents from when I first got on and to when I got back on again, to just have that love and just joy for what we do as elected officials. Yes, we're very important in our own city, and we have to continue that. I remember once a council member a long time ago always told me, don't forget your city. If you have something going on outside your city or inside your city, you always pick what's in your city first, because of course they're the ones that elect you. But we as elected officials and those executive board members, I applaud you and I say thank you, because not only are you taking care of your own city, you're also willing to take on that responsibility as board members for the California contract cities. So I say thank you, and I'm really looking forward to working with you and getting things done and making a difference, because that's what we're doing. Again, thank you for everybody for being on here tonight. There's so many people I can thank, along the road. There's, I look back and I think, Rudy Savornich, my first boss, Steve Afriat, who just passed away, was one of my mentors. So was Rudy. John Eck, who's on, I appreciate you. And many, many others. Sam, former boss as well. So thank you to all of you for allowing me to be involved with contract cities. Supervisor Hahn, I worked for supervisor, and she allowed me to continue my leadership in contract cities. So thank you again. Thank you to all my family and friends for being on. A special thank you to my wife, who allows me to do this. I really do love you, and I appreciate you and my family for allowing me to do this. And again, thank you to my colleagues that are on from the city of Lomita. Lomita's strong, but it's also contract cities strong as well.
Thanks, Mark. One of the great things I think for me is when you see an incoming president, outgoing president, it's really motion, right? To lead this organization that I have, the privilege to be the executive director. There's really motion. There's a lot of time invested that particularly the executive board does. And I know Mark has already selected his executive board, and time is short tonight, but you all know who you are. So I look forward to working with you in the next year. There's some new folks that are coming on, like Ray Hamada, Lori Woods. I know all of you from like being at meetings and stuff like that, but you really are the backbone of this association. You are the ones that sort of set the goals month to month, that help us really shape what this is. And of course, we depend on all of you, the board members, to make sure that you're keeping the executive board on its toes with what direction you might want it to go. So please, if you can, participate in the committee, participate in our board meetings, participate in our conferences, because we rely on you, especially when it comes to advocacy work. That's when it really, really pays off, all of that dedication. So with no further ado, I'm going to introduce you now to one of our past presidents. So I want to do something real quick, because I know we would be remiss if we did not recognize this. First, Sam Oliveto, who's here. Sam, thank you for paving the way for me to make my job as easy as it is now. 32-ish or so years as the executive director for Contract Cities. No way in the world that we cannot, not recognize you. So thank you for everything that you did and are doing over with ICA these days. And then I also want to recognize all of our past presidents. I see Sandra. I know Victor Manalo, Lou. I think Jorge's on here, Frank Zurunyon, Jeff Prang. If you guys would use the raise hand feature, that way you guys can pop up so I can recognize you all. Because I know there's a bunch that I'm not seeing. Lindsey, Horvath, now I forget, like you're past president now. It seems so long. James Wazajan's here. Sherry Kelly, it says she has her name listed as Sam's favorite past president. Michelle Chambers, where else are we seeing? Michelle, you were past president. Oh, Jeff Prang, yeah, I think it's connected to both. But there's a whole bunch of you guys. So again, thank you for everything that you've done to not only to get us here, but help propel us to where we're going to be. So again, it's my privilege and my honor to lead this organization. This, I have to tell you all, is by far the best gig I've ever had. I've done a lot of cool stuff in the Air Force and worked for Homeland Security and all kinds of secret squirrel stuff, but this by far is the number one um, job, career, whatever you want to call it, that I've had the privilege of doing because of you all. Because I get to work with my friends. When people tell me like, "Oh, you work a lot, you work, weekends," it's like I'm hanging out with my friends. Like, it's not really work if you're hanging out with your friends. So thank you all for making it so great. Now, again, as I said, it's my privilege to recognize. Oh, Lois Gaston too, past president. Thank you. Past president and current county assessor, not from the office of the assessor, but the assessor, Mr. Jeff Prang.
Thank you very much, Marcel. You can hear me okay?
Yep.
Great to be with all of you. I appreciate the fact that, Marcel, that you are paying attention when I give all these speeches and repeating my lines. My usual line is, I'm not the tax collector, and I'm not with the office of the assessor. I am the assessor. But it's always a pleasure to be with contract cities, particularly with seeing that so many of my friends have served in positions of leadership who are entering this new chapter of leadership of contract cities. I want to congratulate Ali and Jeff, and particularly my good friend Mark, our new president. Wanted to thank Lindsey Horvath. Lindsey has just been a stellar local official. I'm really proud that I was one of the council members back in 2009 who had the wisdom and the insight to appoint her to a vacancy we had back then. And her success and the very real possibility that she could be one of our next county supervisors is exciting. And I was proud to have it, to be her friend, to be her supporter at the very beginning of her political career here in LA County. Contract cities, as we've heard this from everybody, but contract who spoke just about, but contract cities is a really special organization. And having served as president from 2006 to 2007 was really one of the great highlights of my civic career. In many ways, it's funny that remember Anthony Portantino was still on the city council at that time, and he's the one who encouraged me to run for contract cities. He says it would be good for you, and it really was, not only because it was such an outstanding organization that has such an impact on legislation and public policy at the local level, but when I ran for assessor, I knew elected officials all over the county. I had a base of support from Calabasas to Claremont, from Long Beach to Lancaster. I had a head start on all of my competition. So in many ways, if it wasn't for Anthony Portantino and contract cities, I probably wouldn't have been had the opportunity to be elected assessor. But the organization has always had so many outstanding and committed local officials who really wanted to come together to ensure that cities get the benefits that they need to represent their constituents, to work collectively, either down at the Board of Supervisors or in Sacramento. We had incredibly talented leadership for decades under the helm of Sam Olavino, who not only was the respected leader of contract cities, but I think all of us could say that he was also and is also our friend. And Sam, it's so nice to see you here today. Now we're turning over the gavel from my friend Lindsey to my friend Mark. Mark, I think I've probably known you for close to 30 years, and I think everybody who knows Mark knows what a committed community guy he is. He's one of the more effective local officials that we have here in LA County, and you could tell by what a great city the city of Lomita is under his leadership and his colleagues who are with us tonight and those who have preceded him. Mark gets contract cities. He knows why it's effective. He knows what it needs to continue to be effective. People like him. They follow him. He's organized. He's focused. He's disciplined. And I think Mark is going to go down as one of as probably the organization's second best president. Sam always told me I was the best president. But I'm really, Mark, I'm really very, very proud of you. You've been committed to this organization for a very long time. You've given it your all. And I think your leadership over the next 12 months is really going to be something that we all can be very, very proud of. I'm thrilled to be able to be here with you tonight to congratulate you, to congratulate the new board members, to thank Lindsey for her leadership, and to just recommit myself and my office to working with contract cities to ensure that we can represent our mutual constituents in the County of LA together. So congratulations, Mark, and to the board, and look forward to what the coming year has to offer. Thanks again.
Thank you, Jeff. We always appreciate you. Jeff has been a steadfast supporter of the association from his time as a council member to now as the assessor. So Jeff, we always appreciate you coming out and being there for us. So I want to throw a shout out real quick. Those of you who did get the swag box, I want to thank those who contributed to it, because they're our associate members. You know, they are the backbone. They really, you know, help keep the association afloat. A-Lads, Best and Krieger, Contract Cities, you got a face mask in there. City of Norwalk, NRS Consulting, California JPIA, Nationwide Environmental Services, PepsiCo, Republic Services, SoCal Gas, TNT Fireworks, TransTech, Water Replenishment District, West Basin Municipal Water District, and Williams Data Management. And I know Edison, I know Haig is on. Edison, they were going to get us something. They had an issue with COVID in their supply room, and so they weren't able to get it to us in time. So hopefully that's all cleaned out, and those folks are nobody got sick, and everybody's doing better. So thank you all. Now, before we let you go, I want to introduce you to somebody who's been key in my career development, my professional development, and personal development. Frank Zurunyon. Those of you who may not know him, he is the sage. I think this guy should walk around like an Obi-Wan Kenobi style robes, because he is all things contract cities. When we have questions about, you know, how should we be on this or where should we go on this, Frank is the #1 person that comes up and who we should talk to first. He's studied local control. He's taught it around the world. And so he's going to talk a little bit about what it means to be contract cities. I know he's in here somewhere. Frank, can you use the raise hand? Because there's so many people. I think I lost you off my first screen here. There he is. But with no further ado, I'll introduce you to, I'll let Frank Zurunyon have the floor.
Thank you, Marcel. I actually don't want this day to end. I woke up this morning at 0600, and here I am celebrating a dear friend of mine and friends of mine to become officers of this great organization. And the reason why I say that, today we commissioned 50 newest second lieutenants at USC that protect yours and my freedom for the United States Army, Navy, Marines, and the Air Force. So I'm kind of elated today already. My adrenaline is going. And Mark, the reason why I'm showing you this, one of these things is coming to you as I saved our latest challenge coin that I'm going to personally give it to you. But I begin these remarks today first of all, with a heartfelt and sincere congratulations to my dear and longtime friend, Mayor and now President Mark Waronek. Mark and I were elected, as he alluded to, first time in 2003. That was a long time ago. And we share a special bond, of course, with neighboring cities. Mark is mayor in North Rolling Hills Estates, about 2 miles that way, also known as Lomita. We also share, of course, the brotherhood of the love for California contract cities, as you just experienced firsthand when he spoke. I want to say a few words about our organization and why it is so special to us. But like you, I want to start by thanking Sam Alavito, Sharon, who with the greatest love and care shared their knowledge with me and others to carry on the traditions of this great organization. I have learned so much in this organization. So I thank you for those kind words, Marcel, but I'm just paying it forward. As you all know, California distinguishes itself with the constitutional authority that it gives its cities under Article 11 of the California Constitution as general law and charter law cities. California also distinguishes itself by a style of governance that its cities have as full service or independent cities and also contract cities. As their names fully suggest, full service or independent cities, of course, provide a broad-based municipal services, a lot of them in-house. On the other hand, we at the contract cities deliver these municipal services through various contracts with other governments private and not-for-profit organizations. The advantage of this model that I teach across the globe, as Marcel alluded to, is very innovative because it delivers an efficient way of serving our constituencies. In 2008, during my presidency, I called a bunch of people who were our partners, resources, and innovators. Today, we call them our associate members who partner with us to govern our cities. They are instrumental in what we do. So we thank them all the time. Contract cities have historically collaborated horizontally with other municipal governments. However, today's contracting model expands the scope of collaboration vertically, involving, of course, service providers, resource and innovators outside of governments in the private sector and not-for-profit sector as well. This collaboration delivers statutorily defined special municipal services in finance, economy, accounting, engineering, administration, and the law. So many of you know that you contract for those kind of services on a regular basis. Although arguably all cities engage in contracting, the designation contract cities has a unique and historical meaning in California. The post-World War II era ushered a new style of public administration led by men and women, many labeled the greatest generation, after a term coined by journalist Tom Brokaw. The Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944, commonly referred to as the GI Bill, still is one of the most significant United States federal government interventions of all time. We here in LA County benefit greatly by the GI Bill. Helping veterans assimilate into civil society was a brilliant move by the federal government, particularly again here in California and in Southern California, where a major defense industry and aerospace industry formed. Using the GI Bill of Rights, the greatest generation purchased the American dream, their home, in various communities throughout the nation, and attended local colleges and universities, including the one that I favor, obviously. They've attended schools like engineering, entrepreneurship, medicine, business, and law. This level of education improved substantially their earning capacity, and each participated in service member uplifting the middle class and establishing sustainable upper middle class. This economic base was the recipe for city community building in Southern California. Therefore, the importance of the model that was created certainly in California. A particular city actually became the 16th city organized and incorporated in California since 1939 for the first time in 1950s. This area, 10 miles southeast of Los Angeles, blazed new trails literally and figuratively when, based on demand, the Lakewood Park Company developed one of the first post-World War II era planned communities consisting of 17,500 homes over 3,500 acres of land, including landscaped streets with lights and underground sewers and wires. Reminiscent of the success of Levittown in Nassau County, New York, unincorporated Lakewood grew to 70,000 residents in the first few years in 1950s, using slogans such as Lakewood, my hometown, and Lakewood, tomorrow's city today. In April of 1954, the Lakewood communities under threat of annexation from Long Beach incorporated as the state's 16th largest city and the largest community in the United States ever to incorporate as a sovereign city. What was remarkable about this incorporation was not the necessity or the actual decision to become a city, but the decision made by its founders on the financially sound and efficient method to administer the city. A poster child of the GI Bill of Rights, the son of a University of Southern California professor and a graduate of our law school at USC, John Sanford Todd, advised the city founders then to use an existing statute in California in government code and a section of the county charter to collaborate with the county government and contract for the delivery of municipal services in very young Lakewood. Although the original motive behind Lakewood's incorporation was to retain local control over local services, the purpose of what became known as the Lakewood Plan was to eliminate duplication of services relying on government service providers to deliver public administration cost effectively. This innovative and transformational plan earned the city of Lakewood prominence in the history of American municipalities. It became the model for 41 other communities in Los Angeles County and more than 130 communities across the state in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Like Lakewood, these communities selected the model to retain a level of sovereignty or local control within their borders through collaboration with the county, the private sector, and the not-for-profit sector. This engaged governance model of the Lakewood Plan or contract cities encouraged the public and private sectors to study, experience, and solve policy and public administration challenges jointly. To preserve the innovation of the Lakewood Plan and the usefulness of the model for like-minded jurisdictions, on November 20, 1957, 8 cities gathered from the California contracts, gathered and created the California Contract Cities Association. The like-minded cities were Lakewood, Bellflower, Duarte, La Puente, Norwalk, Paramount, Rolling Hills, and Santa Fe Springs. My city of Rolling Hills Estate joined immediately after its incorporation, and our incorporation is even 1957, but the bylaws of the California Contract Cities Association were first drafted in 1958. By the early 60s, the association had drawn 25 members across the county to organize and help organize new cities, preserving the contracting model. Half a century later, of course, we have over 70 member cities, and we thrive, of course, as a model that is best to govern in our communities. Some of our communities would not exist if it were not for the contracting model. This network efficiently and in large number advocates for interests common to members. Finally, the network provides access to services, providers, building social capital along the way to create value for members. It increases efficiency and addresses local demographic challenges, allowing cities to scale contracted services to their particular needs. In addition, this network provides the framework for future collaboration, public administration, and public policy. At the most basic human level, however, the Contract Cities Association is home for many of us. We are a family, more so than any other organizations, and no offense to any other organization. Most of us will tell you that our children grew up year after year at the municipal seminar that brings us together. Sadly, we have not been able to convene these last 2 years, but we will be back with a vengeance this September. I close by thanking Mark for his love for this organization, by thanking all of our members for making the organization stronger, by thanking Lindsey for her service as president last year, despite extraordinary challenges, and by thanking, of course, Marcel and his staff for their steadfast care and service for this organization. I knew Marcel was best when Sam was retiring. And I remember sitting in that room in our wonderful university club and jumping and saying, absolutely, we should have another Sam Alavito in Marcel Rodarte. Hopefully, Marcel, you will serve as long as Sam has served in this great organization. And I want to also thank our resource partners, our innovators. They are so valuable to all of us, all of our associate members. It's different in this organization. Our associate members help us govern, and we appreciate that extremely very much. Finally, as we say in the university that I love, teach, fight on, Marky.
All right, that was excellent, Frank. This is why everybody goes to you for the knowledge and the historical knowledge and everything, all things contract cities. So I remember that conversation too at the University Club. You know, I remember the words. I won't repeat them here, but I remember what Frank said. And so for me, I mean, I'm still paying for the education, but the education at USC has been invaluable, but well worth it. Every penny. I would have paid double. I don't want to now, but I would have, just because it's such a great university. So again, I want to close tonight. Mark, do you have anything else? Any final words that you want to say before we let everybody go?
Thank you, Marcel. And again, thank you to all of our associate members. Frank, I appreciate you bringing that up. We don't have an organization without our associate members. So I say thank you. As you can see from the hat, I'm really looking forward to seeing you in September in Indian Wells. It's going to be, like Frank said, it's going to be, we're coming back with a vengeance, and it's going to be a great conference. So again, thank you to you, Lindsey, for a wonderful year. And let's start off with the new year with my executive board, and looking forward to working with all of you. Thanks, Marcel.
Thanks, Mark. And so for those new executive board members, if you already know, I'll be sending you an email probably tomorrow or Monday to welcome you to the executive board and let you know, for the new folks, what our meeting schedules are. Right now, everything's virtual, but in the next couple months, we look like we're probably going to go back to some in-person meetings again as everyone continues to be vaccinated. Thank you for joining us tonight. I appreciate all of you, all of the VIPs, which is every single one of you, all of the family members, all of our elected officials, associate members. John Kelly, I know you're out there. He tried to get the fireworks. I know he's in the backyard right now lighting sparklers on your behalf, Mark. So thank you all for being here. Look forward to seeing you in September. Have a great weekend. Have a good night.